Hello and welcome back to the women's pre-semi-final. This game is a Kākahi, who we haven't gotten to watch yet, versus Cannons. If you were with us earlier today, Cannons won against Nexus on Universe. My name is Lauren Burgess. With me is
Tam.
Avril Tam.
Yes, it is a very exciting pre-semi-final, so a very interesting way to do the draw. So day one was pool play. We had 2 pools of 4. And then day 2, today, we've had this power pool set up. So basically the teams that finish in the top 2 in their pools are put in the upper pool, and then the teams who finish 3rd and 4th were put in the lower pool. And so you play essentially the opposite 1-2 or the opposite 3-4 from the other pool, and then you carry over that other game that you played in your day 1. So it's a little bit confusing, but the long story short is that this is a game to go into the semi-final,
Yes,
right?
it's not a quarterfinal.
No,
it's a
pre-semi-final. Yeah, so because of the way the power pools worked, Cannons, initially they finished 2nd in the original pool from day 1. So they play the 2nd place and then the 1st place from the other side, basically, from the other pool. As you said, they won a very, very exciting Universe point game against Nexus earlier this morning, which we had a fantastic time calling. Make sure you check out the replay on ULTI.TV.
Yeah, if you haven't gotten an opportunity to watch it yet, it is a nail-biter. Some incredible offense, incredible defense. We saw zone, we saw person, we saw some deep looks, we saw some chilly end zone offense. Really fun game to watch. Highly recommend checking it out when you're not watching this one.
Absolutely. And in terms of the Kākahi side of things, so interestingly, they were actually seeded number 7. So 8 teams in the division here, they were seeded number 7. So they didn't have the greatest start on day 1, but today they've really brought things out. They've managed to get a couple of really tough wins to finish number 2 in that lower power pool. So this is why they get the opportunity for a pre-semi, or I guess kind of quarter, basically. So they have absolutely earned the opportunities, obviously learnt a lot from day 1, managed to turn on and really fire out on day 2 to earn this spot in this game.
Yes, and Cannons, we did get a chance to see them yesterday. If you weren't able to tune in for our yesterday and this morning. If you weren't able to tune in for our earlier broadcast, keep an eye out for number 2, Victoria King, number 30, Lucy Nixon, number 84, Zara Bowen, and number 39, Nadalyn Tiang. They're really holding down the offense. We saw some beautiful throws as well from Helena Svetonovic. So sorry on that one. really excited to see if they can keep the pace they had this morning.
And we can see on the screen here, very active, playing some real classics here. The Cannons getting really chuffed and really up and high in energy in their pre-game warm-up. So see if they can pull out some hits. They will be starting this game on offense.
Gorgeous pull from number 25, Leanne Clements. Unfortunately, it did go out of bounds, so it's going to be coming in at the middle of the field, called a brick mark.
There's a bit of discussion about whether it's a brick or not.
Yeah. So complication there being if it lands inbounds and then rolls out of bounds, then you'll take it from the sideline. But if it lands out of bounds without ever coming in, then you take it from the middle of the field.
You do have the option of taking it from the brick or from the sideline. So Tiang, again, very powerful already, strikes up line. No continuation, but managing to get through to the middle.
Yep, 42, Natalie Pembroke grabs that. Seeing some great handler movement right at the beginning, running a lot of their set through Tiang. Tiang now with a great strike up line. And a nice clean hold to finish off that point.
Sweet, sweet Valentine ends up with the goal, really open in the end zone play. Sarah Valentine finishing off a lovely clean hold to start the game. Eve Tiang, we can see already how powerful she is in that handler space. A couple of times just being that solid dump reset. And then you can see here striking up the line. Replay, she just gets feet in front of the defender. And then lovely continuation, that time cut from Valentine. Perfect, just beating her player to the cone there.
Last game, we were really able to see the Cannons comfortable on the sideline. They're really able to utilize that space, push up the sideline as opposed to coming back into the rest of the field, especially when they get close to the end zone. They really thrive in using that sideline space and pushing it up the line. Here we're seeing the Cannons line up.
For sure, and like you mentioned, there's already plenty of very solid handlers. We have Tiang there, we have Teo Linarts, we saw Sanders as well as Chambers working really well together. So be interesting to see if that chemistry does continue. It's a long tournament, 3 days, and we're, second day in, last game of this afternoon, slightly warmer conditions today as well. So it has been quite a challenging kind of switch up from yesterday.
Much warmer and some gusty winds picking up now. Our first game, there weren't too many. We would have some gusts here and there, but it was pretty calm. Already we're seeing the wind pick up just a little bit.
Svitanovic goes up for a good pull. And it looks like there is a zone and an immediate block.
Fast hand block by Ocean Simmered.
She races to the end zone to get set up for the end zone play.
Cannons now with a short field. Picked up by 26 Svitanovic. And Tiang picking up right at the edge of the end zone. Next throw should probably score this. Unless it's a reset just like that, back to Svitanovic.
It's Teo Linarts. Teo Linarts.
Incredible lockdown defense by Kākahi. And there's a call on the field.
It looks like it might be a pick call. Having a look at the replay, Svitanovic to Teo Linarts. As we said, lovely dump swing play here. You can see just the two Kākahi defenders just getting in each other's way there. Very clear with the hand signals. I think perhaps the rest of the field taking a bit of time to realise that the call had been made, so there had been a lot of movement since, and just figuring out the position now to adjust or recount for the pick. And then now they're trying to work out, I think, the stall count.
Disc is in. 18, centering to 34, Jess Jenkins. Getting it back to Teo Linnartz.
Staying really patient, Cannons. I really like how they're looking for a really open throw. And there we go, finishing it off. That's Svetanovic to Teo Linnartz with the score.
We're going to be saying those names quite often on stream if last game is any predictor.
Sure, and you can see the Cannons, even when their offensive flow was not as quick as that first point, they managed to, there we see the dance celebrations. Looks like they're hungry for a win there. And the Cannons just showing their class. You know, even though Kākahi put on some pretty good defense to hold up the disc and make sure that the first 1, 2, and maybe even number 3 looks were shut down, in the end, Teo Linnartz comes around, shakes the defender free, and that's an easy open side throw for Svetanovic. So really using their fakes nicely to move the defender and open up that space.
And Kākahi, to their credit, are having some really strong lockdown defense, especially with a short field, really forcing Cannons to use their resets, find space, and work hard to get a point.
So that's a break already. So Cannons with a hold and then a break. They're certainly looking to shoot for the stars in this match.
Cannons pull going up. Picked up by number 11, Nat Bell, who quickly centers. Looks like Cannon's coming down in a bit of a zoney look. Difficult 50-50 ball, but we've got a call on the field.
And it's pretty quickly an accepted foul, so Kākahi will keep possession.
Great handler motion that we're seeing here.
Oh,
Hammer over the top, but unfortunately we didn't have a receiver on site.
Yeah, they got a tip on that, the mark, so definitely made that hammer a bit shorter than intended.
Ellen Sanders, the Cannons player with the defense.
Oh, and that one just a little bit too wide and out of bounds, so Cannons here with another opportunity for a break.
Let's see if they can make it work. I believe this is Kākahi with the hold that we're working towards.
So missed opportunity for the break there. Oh, and that one is just to the side.
Quick turnover. Cannons coming back in. Wow, Tiang with a great pass and then catching the score.
Geez, Jessica Chambers really throwing her skills on display here. She's a tall player. She's got a wide reach. She reached really quite far under for that low release shot, but it was a beautiful inside break in the end to Tiang. And the Cannons really firing to start this game. That warm-up must have really got them on their toes and warm. As we see here, inside backhand break here. And then Chambers another inside, but flick break this time. So even though the change up in the force, I'm not sure if that was actually intentional, but in the end, Cannons saying, you know what, we're going to blast through your force, whatever you said.
And watch as Tiang sends it into the player and then just, we can't see it very well, but she runs up line so quickly to get past her defender.
Yeah.
Really heads up playing to make sure she's making space for her teammate.
Yeah, that classic throw and go. You know,
Yeah.
You throw, you go immediately. The defender, there's always going to be a slight delay on that reaction, right? So very smart from Tiang to make that small space work really well for them.
Ellen Sanders with the pull here. A beautiful floaty pull, allowing the Cannons to get down.
So again, a bit of a zone look for the Cannons.
Some great handler movement again. A beautiful hammer over the top to spread the field. That was Nat Bell with the gorgeous hammer. Now she's got the disc again, and she does it again. Beautiful hammers continuing from Nat Bell. Rachel Siwani Royal holding the disc, centers it to number 28, Michelle Lee. Roisin Harris now with the disc. Tries to reset, just overthrows her teammate Nat Bell.
Just a little bit too much of an inside-out angle on that disc meant that it was trailing away from the intended receiver.
Low hands, low hands. Attack leader left, attack leader left.
Tiang to pick up. Looks like we've got a similar zone defense that we're seeing that Cannons came out with. Now Kākahi are running. 42, Natalie Pembroke puts it up to 55. Annabelle Frazier, who then sends it to 37. Ellen Hammond. We've centered back to Tiang. Tiang staying nice and relaxed, finding a reset. And a beautiful throw from Ellen Sanders for the assist.
That was a fantastic play. I think Cannon's just making it look really easy at the moment. They just look so calm and settled and in control. That was really just a classic dump continuation, you know. Rake around, continuation, the timing of those continuation cuts just on point here for Cannons.
And again, we're seeing the patience in the end zone, right? Just making sure that they're throwing the 100% throw. They're not taking unnecessary risks.
As we see here, just using her pivot so well, Tiang. That one goes to Sanders and then to number 55 in Frazier. So Cannons just really pinpoint with their targets on song here.
Interesting to note, both of these teams do hail from Christchurch, so they know each other well. They've played each other multiple times. There's an incredible Frisbee scene out in Christchurch, able to field multiple teams on both the open and the women's sides. Really fun to see them.
And I'm sure, well, I hope we've got some friends from Christchurch watching on the stream. Please make sure you get involved. There's plenty of ultimate action here. We'll still be here. We've got one more Opens game to finish the same day, and then more finals to come tomorrow.
Lucy Nixon with a gorgeous pull down to Kākahi. Nat Bell picking up again, centering straight to Becky Farr. Back to Bell.
So Cannon's here with a match, but it's a little bit saggy and poachy. They're allowing those dump resets in the backfield. Oh, and the fantastic D by the Cannon there, shooting up nice and high was Michelle Martin. This earns yet another break opportunity for the Cannons.
Let's see if the Cannons can capitalize on this break opportunity. Taya Linart's picking up the disc this time. Svetanovich handling at the moment, looking for a reset. Some great shutdown defense by Kākahi, but Svetanovich able to get it off. Oh, and a beautiful throw by Svetanovich, but a pick was called. This goes back to Svetanovich. Now you see the similar throw to a new receiver, number 95, Kiara Chin.
Fantastic full extension grab by Svetanovich.
Svetanovich again, nice and relaxed.
Lovely 1-2 motion with Taya Linarts. Really gets them moving with speed.
Svetanovich and Taya Linarts really have some beautiful chemistry dialed in. And we see Lucy Nixon going for the bid, had it in her fingertips. A really beautiful attempt there. Kākahi now coming back with the opportunity to hold.
So Kākahi definitely sticking with their horizontal offensive set.
We see Bell center again to...
And slips through the fingers there
Yeah.
of Vanderlee.
Svetanovic, beautiful throw.
And fantastic layout. Was it in?
Is it in?
They
Is
are
it
calling
in?
a goal. There's someone has called a goal, but there seems to be a lot of uncertainty on field. Taylor Arts feels like it's a goal.
We're
She's pretty
calling
confident.
it a goal.
There she is pointing at
Yeah.
the mark, and the dent she's made in the grass. A dent she's made on this game.
Let's look at it ourselves here on the replay. You see a nice quick reset to Svetanovic. And then look closely at Teo Linart's feet.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
had control. Her knee was clearly on the ground.
That looks like a score to me.
Very convincing there on the replay. It's always hard, you know, when you're the receiver, all you're focused on is catching that disc. You can't actually see where your body lands, but here we go. Lovely angle there from our camera operators at ULTI.TV. Clearly had control. Right knee hits the ground, well in bounds. No smudges on the line at all required.
And a beautiful somersault to end it, too. Adding some gymnastics on the field.
Got to throw in some good dance moves and good performances, eh? So interestingly, Svetanovic and Taylor Linarts being probably the dominant handlers on this line. With the other line, you've got Tiang and, you know, Sanders and Chambers. And so they've got some really nice little combinations of that quick give-go movement. And that's working really well for both lines.
Absolutely. It looks like their lines have really started dialing in their chemistry and are starting to feel even more comfortable with each other. That's been really fun to watch as this tournament has progressed. Svetanovic now with the pull. A nice pull. Kākahi picking up. That's Tia Lawson centering to Leanne Clements. Leanne Clements with a throw. Great grab by 12, Sophie Rogers. Oh, and then a gorgeous throw back to Tia Lawson. Great grab after great grab. That was Alex Landon Lane on that snag. Oh, goodness.
And Taylor Linarts just flashes in front of Rogers. Causes a little bit of a collision. The player's a little slow to get up, but looks like they may have a chat about what occurred just there.
Let's see it one more time on this replay. You'll see the throw goes up and just a bit of a cuddle that we didn't want to happen.
Let's have a look at that replay. I mean, Taylor Linarts was very clever in keeping her eyes on the disc, recognizing that she was close enough to affect that play. Did she take the line of Rogers? Looks like some other teammates are offering some perspective, and that turn will stand.
Cannons now with another chance to break. Oh, but a quick throw to the ground. That was Svetanovic to Michelle Martin. And now Michelle Lee picking up the disc for Kākahi. Nice centering pass to Clements.
Oh, and that was just a slight overthrow. Taylor Linarts all on her lonesome, but the mark gets on from Lawson.
Zara Bowen with the disc now. Nice and patient to find 23. And Teo Linart's another gorgeous throw. Oh, wow.
Picking up the scraps at the back.
Ocean Simmer not able to reel it in. But luckily her teammate was right there to help out. Way to go, Grace Douglas.
Geez, the Cannons really not afraid to bomb it long. Even though the first intended receiver didn't come down with the disc, they had plenty of backup out the back.
That was some really impressive heads-up offense to make sure they're keeping their eyes on the Frisbee. You can see both athletes run for the disc. And just a beautiful grab to support the team.
So again, using this open side really well. Tan goes to the open side in Teo Linnart's in that power position, and that cut timed very well for her to immediately turn and put the disc. Picking up the scraps is Grace Douglas, who stood up really tall in a few of the Cannons games so far. As we see, we've got some Kākahi fans here on the screen. Kākahi, of course, meaning Orcas, having a whale of a time here at the New Zealand Div 1 Ultimate Championships. So timeout has been called. Unsurprising, I think, when you're down 6-0. Kākahi really not getting into too much of a rhythm because of the very strong Cannons defense.
No, we've definitely seen some very strong defensive looks from Kākahi, especially from players like Michelle Lee and Rachel Sioane Royal, but not able to get their offense really connected as of yet. I'm excited to see what they can come up with out of this timeout, if they put in any new different defensive looks or what their offense plans to do.
Sure, I think Clements and Bell have started to get involved in their plays a little bit more. Maybe some of their more experienced players like Bielik could really stamp their authority on this team, but I think, to be honest, Cannons are definitely winning the energy battle. I mean, you can hear them at the moment in their huddle, very loud voices, very big smiles, and why not? Dancing away, they're having a good time. So I think part of the first step is to build that energy, Find the positives, try to get your sideline on board and loud, and then you got to start battling and chipping away from there.
Sideline is going to be huge in things like this, especially when you've gone down 5 breaks at the beginning of the game. Having your teammates on the sideline to help build you up is worth its weight in gold. Looking forward to see how Kākahi are able to come out of this timeout.
And, perhaps a strategic timeout, maybe putting some more experienced heads on this line just to try and get a nice clean hold, or at least an efficient hold. It's always hard. This is Kākahi's first season as a club. So, well done for them to get to this stage in terms of playing Div 1 Nationals. And I'm sure that they're only going to build from here. So let's hope that it can start now.
Pull goes up. A gorgeous pull right onto the sideline by Cannons, quickly centered for Kākahi. Looks like we're seeing person defense on the Cannons. Becky Farr with the disc at the moment for Kākahi. A nice reset. Nice up the line throw to number 12, Nat Bell. Some great small ball being played to push their defense out of the way, and then a gorgeous throw just flies out of grasp for both teams.
So you can see Bielik here in the handler space. As I mentioned, she's an experienced player who can try and stamp her authority a bit more, lead some of her young chargers to try to get some more control in this game. As you can see, a poach in the lane here from Kākahi, trying to deter those open side spaces for the Cannons.
Unfortunately, Cannons able to capitalize on that poach, send it straight to Jess Bell. Jess Jenkins, apologies. Number 7 with a great run, Sarah Valentine. What a sprint for her. And then right back to Jess Jenkins for the score.
Jess Jenkins worked so hard. I don't know where she came from, because I swear she was one who threw that initial pass.
I think she threw it and then went and received it. That was impressive.
Throw and go, indeed. And go she did. That was probably a sprint like more than halfway down the field.
Here we go. Let's see. A gorgeous throw. Sarah Valentine reading it perfectly. And then from entirely off screen, you can see Jess Jenkins just coming right up to support her teammate.
You can see she's about halfway down as that hut goes up. So she put on the jets there. She definitely has some cannons coming out from her shoes to jet through here. And just an easy flip in the end zone to score. So Cannons still dominating, despite Kākahi. I think some good change up on offense, going for those longer options and trying to be aggressive with the disc. I think you still got to try and put those up, right? You still got to play your game to try to gain some control and actually make some of those deep spaces look a little bit more menacing.
Absolutely. We got a couple great shots of some pups there and a few not ideal shots
Opportune
of some
times.
pups there. Yeah. Yeah, but we do have some great supporters here at this game. Another pull coming up. This one coming from Tiang. Kākahi, some great handler movement again.
Looks like a match defense and a straight up mark to prevent those long options to start.
Absolutely, and Samantha Courting now getting able to get involved.
And that one just a little overthrow, bit of miscommunication to the downfield receiver.
Kākahi having some really strong handler movement and some great short throws, but looks like they're having a tough time building outside of the short field, using their deep space. Cannon's picking up.
Looks off the initial. You have a swarm of players working in the underspace.
Jess Jenkins wide open there. Tries to reset to 55, Annabelle Fraser, but just not able to reel it in. Kākahi now with a chance to score. Relatively short field. Becky Farr picks up for Kākahi. Stays nice and relaxed with the disc. Unfortunately does throw it away first throw.
Pembroke with the block there, managing to get high to disrupt the disc's flight.
And Tiang to pick up for Cannons. Cannons setting up in a vertical stack. Centering straight to Jess Jenkins, who then goes deep to Natalie Pembroke. Just overthrows her for a turnover back to Kākahi.
Just a little bit too much outside in on that throw, trailing away from the intended receiver. It's always going to be difficult to make a play on that disc.
Rachel Siohani Royale to pick up for Kākahi. Oh no, Rachel leaving the disc. Picking up is going to be 21, Becky Farr.
And coming out of a horror set on offense here for Kākahi. Doesn't like the downfield option, so looks at the dump. Well covered by defense.
There was some fantastic movement by Kākahi, way to clear out that space for number 3 Samantha Courting to come back for it, but just wasn't able to reel it in, unfortunately.
Impressive defense by the Cannons to coordinate that and force a turn. And a lovely break around by who else but Tiang.
Tiang to Jenkins. Jenkins loves it.
Jenkins featuring very prominently in the last couple of points. She's definitely had some good stuff for lunch.
Very impressive. We didn't get to see her too much in the first game, but she's really been showing up and showing out this game. Fun to watch.
As we see here, Tiang uses those fakes so well just to get the mark to bite a little bit too much to that open side. And then a lovely low release. Her pivot is so low and incredibly well balanced. It's always going to be much easier for the intended receiver to get to that break side without defense in sight.
And that takes us to halftime.
So Cannons shooting away 8-0. I think the Kākahi team are going to have to recollect, try and think, okay, this is 2 halves. We can reset from here. And as we said, first half featured highly by Natalie Tiang. 1 goal and 2 assists, absolutely dominating in the handler space with her very precise break throws both inside and around.
Very impressive throwing, like you said, from Tiang. We're seeing again here just some beautiful, accurate throws. Nice and calm on offense. Cannons just taking their time, running their plays, and making it happen for themselves.
As we said, Tiang, just so powerful, particularly as we hear she just powers through. She wants that upline aggressive cut, and once she gets into power position, her downfield cutters know that she can put it anywhere. So if they time things off her cut, they trust that she's going to receive the disc and make something special happen.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will chat with you after halftime for the second part of the game against Cannons and Kākahi. Hello and welcome back to the second half of our game, Kākahi against Cannons in the women's division of our D1 championship.
So the scoreline ain't too pretty if you're a Kākahi fan, but saying that, Cannons have only managed to earn one clean hold. So it does mean that the Kākahi defense are doing well to earn the opportunities on defense. They're just not able to convert just yet.
I think that's what we've all been seeing is Kākahi's defense is absolutely shut down, lights out. They just need to see if they can make it work with their cutters. We have a balk on our initial pull.
Bit of a false start there for Nixon on the pull. Just
Nixon making sure no one's offsides.
And as that pull comes up, so does the sun. Bright in the eyes of Kākahi. Will the sun and the shine give them a hope? But that is unfortunately a turnover in the backfield.
Roisin Harris not quite able to connect with Nat Bell. Now we're seeing Svetonovic picking up and just not able to connect with her teammates.
Fantastic bid for Nixon. I think she's going to call an injury there. She took a pretty hard hit to the ground, but a very respectable bid. Applause to Nixon there. Chin now coming on to replace her.
And play is now live again. Kākahi picking up the disc. Looks like we've got Nat Bell picking up for Kākahi. Some great early cutting from Rogers. Quick defense by Svetonovic to get the turn. That's Tan with the grab, close to the end zone. Let's see if Svetonovic can convert it here, and she does!
And some fancy footwork there. That was by Ocean Simmer to make sure to keep things in. Cannon's always looking really good when they move the disc quickly. Again, just using that open side channel to their advantage, I think. Kākahi, we said that their defense was looking good, maybe less so when they're unable to stop the open side. We see those big fakes there, trying to move the mark and get some bigger channels to throw into. That one was just a little overthrown.
Cannons holding strong with yet another break out of half.
Svetonovic.
And just such a great grab by Ocean Simmered. She had a fantastic knuckle grab in the first game as well. Just got sticky hands in that end zone.
So Cannon starting the second half like they did the first. Yet another break in a row there to take it out to 9-0. As you said, nice and dirty there for Nixon. Proof that she has been working hard with some fantastic bids and really a very good pull to get that point going for the Cannons.
Looks like Kākahi ready for the pull. Svetonovic getting ready to pull it for the Cannons.
That's a huge pull by Svetonovic, locking Kākahi to the back, and pressure already on that first throw, very tightly marked.
Clements with the center, and then a quick throw to Vanderlee. Vanderlee resetting to Sioane Royal. Now we've got Becky Farr holding the disc. Quick reset from Vanderlee back to Sioane Royale, then right back to Vanderlee.
Cannon's doing well to push them backwards, just using some small ball, the handlers at the moment.
The small ball has absolutely been Kākahi's bread and butter this game. It's really good to see them utilize their handlers, and that's a score for Kākahi. Vanderlee to Cording.
Well done to Kākahi for managing to use that small ball to advantage. You could see the downfield cutters set backwards and allow the handlers space. You can see plenty of big smiles there. Sun is shining brightly on Kākahi. Will this be the turn in tide that they needed? As we see on the replay here, just using the open side, making sure to get their shoulder in front of the defender, and just that strike up line here, according to Vanderlee, working hard in this point. So Kākahi now on the board. Can this be the start of something for them?
There was some beautiful patience that we were able to see from Kākahi too. I think they were able to relax, find their groove, and as we were talking about earlier, great at the small ball, so using that to their advantage to move the defense out of the way and find their players.
Let's see what the Kākahi coaching team can brew up here. That was actually their first hold for the game, and it was a clean one to boot. So I think they can take a lot of confidence. You know, we've done this. We've kept the disc in possession. We've done the hard stuff, throwing lots of small ball and using our legs. So let's continue on this. Let's see what we can do on defense. We know it's worked. We know that we can earn the turnover.
A nice quick centering pass, and then Sarah Valentine with a gorgeous throw into traffic, but it's brought down by the Cannons. We're resetting again, taking a breather, and then what a beautiful up the line, but just not able to pull it down. Kākahi now has a chance for the break. This would be their first break if they can score.
I just want to say before, Niamh Hoare had got a hand to the disc, deflected it, but unfortunately the scraps were picked up. So defensive pressure ramping up now.
Tia Lawson now with a nice throw, but just not able to reel it in. Alex Landon Lane got a hand on it, just wasn't able to hold on. Cannons now with a short field. And a fantastic hand block by Kākahi, looking for a quick restart on offense. Becky Farr now finding Tia Lawson.
Oh, soaring down to try to grab that disc. She is getting up and about in this point.
Great positioning for Niamh Hoare, but just not able to connect. Annabelle Fraser now with a throw to the Cannons, but another quick turnover.
That is 3 blocks now. Kākahi getting their hands on disc. We know one didn't actually result in a turnover, but the fact that they're getting outright blocks, they have taken it up a notch.
They absolutely have, Av.
You can hear the sideline calling to cut hard, to work hard. Oh, and a lovely grab there. 28
Lawson with
an
an awesome put to Michelle Lee, then right back to Lawson.
Hoare again comes up big this point.
Jess Jenkins right there trying to get the hand block, but not able to do it. And then there's a turn for Kākahi. That's Cannons back on offense. Taking their time, taking a little breather, trying to get reset. After a chaotic point like this, sometimes that's all you need is just a breath.
Yeah, they're just checking the disc now. I think it might be a little bit tacoed. And after 6 turnovers already in this point, it is a scrappy one. So I think this point will be a really good test, you know. Obviously, Cannons have had all the momentum already, been dominant in the play and on the scoreboard. You know, now is this Kākahi's time. They've started to build some momentum, try to put some doubt in the Cannons' minds. Can they get through this scrappy point?
Kākahi definitely looking more confident on defense than they have. But Cannons with great movement up the field, staying nice and calm. Great movement, utilizing their handlers to spread the field from one side to the other. And some quick throwing. Jess Chambers now with a high stall count, able to put it up.
to Sanders with the score there. Again, the upline strike proving so damaging for the Cannons. They are on target with those upline strikes at the moment.
What a fun point to watch. Really seeing a lot of that energy come back for Kākahi. I think that score really helped build their momentum.
Here we go. Hoare, that was her first defensive effort, getting hands to the disc, but unfortunately there was a Cannon in there getting the scraps, and another D here. And here, Hoare going for the layout. She is certainly putting all of her effort on the table here in this game.
Lots of layouts, lots of fighting for the disc. Some really impressive Frisbee happening.
Sticky meets there by Michelle Lee. And the Cannons just showing their class here. They know what they want. They're very decisive with their movement, and they've got plenty of depth in their throwing set.
You saw there Chambers with so much patience, even in a high stall count, staying relaxed, knowing that she had Sanders cutting for her. A great look to finish that point off.
I think there's just so much trust in this Cannons team at the moment. Like, they know what their plays are, what their structures are, what their strat is. So they just have, you know, complete trust in each other to execute that.
As you mentioned, Av, Kākahi, a first-year team. Cannons are a well-established Christchurch team. So some of these players have been playing with each other for many years.
Makes a difference when you've got a couple of, you know, established players with some good chemistry, when you can get some quick and easy points in a row. But that one, managing to get the block, and she's off to the races.
Hand block by Fraser. Can she get the bookends? She can! Was that in? Are we calling it in, or was it out the back?
There's a few Kākahi hands indicating it was out of bounds.
A great run from Fraser, but just not able to stay in bounds. Bookends, for some of our watchers who might not be as familiar with Frisbee, is when you get the defense turnover and then you go and score in the end zone. So you bookend the point for your team. Kākahi now starting. Some quick give and go for the Kākahi offense, but not able to keep it up. That's Kelsey Bielik and and Sophie Rogers with those give and goes.
Bielik and Bell actually Bielik and Rogers looking really nice on that quick give go. I think when Kākahi are keeping the disc moving, that's when they look really strong and powerful.
A quick first cut by number 2, Victoria King, and then a quick score pass to Jessica Chambers, the assist on the last point to the goal to this point. Some really impressive Frisbee happening.
I think Kākahi will have to try and take some inspiration from the Cannons. They just don't hold the disc for too long. When they get into flow, it's very difficult to stop. The timing of their cuts are honestly so exquisite at the moment. Can Kākahi do the same?
And really starting to trust each other and knowing that their teammates are going to be where they need to be.
See a wide swing here. King just accelerates into that disc.
Just able to keep it in bounds.
Yeah.
And then a nice, easy set to Chambers.
Narrow channel, but again, that upline cut, that strike cut, they've just been damaging all tournament so far, the Cannons. I think the teams are going to have to try to find a way to stop that upline strike a little bit more. Maybe just like a slightly bigger buffer, or just set your body position to try and deter that. I think Kākahi, you need to put some work into preventing those.
Absolutely, or even just a straight up mark for a couple counts. Really take away that upline, because that's where Cannon seems to be taking advantage of the gap. Nixon ready to pull, but we're seeing the sun come out of the clouds, so needing to use the disc as a sunshade. Sun can definitely be a factor, especially with some of the more floaty throws. And if your defender's close to you, it's really hard to read the disc when you've got a bright sun shining in your eyes.
For sure, very different conditions, and yesterday very wet. Not too cold, but certainly wet and lots of slippery disc. But today, quite a lot of clean offense, really. Without too much wind, just some little bits gusting up here and there.
Yeah, the wind now picking up quite a bit more than it has been. Sioani Royale with a great put Unfortunately, receiver not able to pull it in, but it looks like there's a foul on the play.
That space, I really like the use of that space there by Sione Royale. The receivers weren't quite on the same page, but the fact that she was using that fat side of the field, there was no defender able to get in a good position, putting it to advantage of her team. The next step is for those downfield receivers to recognize that and connect.
Disc is back in. Sione Royale able to send it to Becky Farr. Becky Farr staying nice and calm, putting it to Tia Lawson. Lawson now with the disc, finding a strong reset. Bell not able to take advantage of that power position, but still finds Neve Hoare in the end zone. Unfortunately, not able to come down with it, but some fantastic movement by Kākahi.
Hoare really did deserve to get a goal there. I think she's been working so hard this game. It's easy to kind of let your head drop when your team is down, but she hasn't dropped at all. She's kept at a really high level, been really competitive, and hopefully some of her hard, strong, diligent plays will inspire her team to do the same.
Cannons now have to work all the way up the field to try to score this break. And a quick turnover. Unfortunately, Nixon not able to pull it in. 11 now. Oh, beautiful throw by Nat Bell to Roisin Harris for that score.
Well done to Kākahi for earning that turnover. And then you could see Nat Bell sprinting to the disc, wanting to get things going before the disc was set. As we said, if they keep the disc moving, they look fantastic.
I don't think they're watching the stream as we're casting, but I think they could hear us when we recommended making sure they're valuing the disc and grabbing those throws.
So you can see the away cut probably was actually intended to be thrown to 21 in Becky Farr, but in the end, Roisin Harris recognizing that that was the space, that was what the thrower wanted. Always doesn't hurt to have an extra backup on hand. You never know what might happen with some of those, unpredictable gusts.
And Roisin Harris was not going to let that catch go. She was dialed in for that one.
Some stretching there, making sure they stay limber, ready for the next point. So, it's always a nice opportunity because after you score, you get to actually plan something on defense. And I wouldn't be surprised if we, saw some zone set up or something a little different just to give the offense a slightly different look.
Kākahi has had such strong handler defense, even against the Cannons. I think a zone would be a really great look for them. We'll see if it comes up because even if it seems like it, they're not listening to stream. But I think with some of Kākahi's strengths are their defensive positioning and their ability to force turnovers from the Cannons. So far, Cannons have had quite a few turnovers. Kākahi now pulling down to the Cannons. Coming down in person defense with a quick throw. And a quick score for the Cannons.
That was a 2-throw score. A 2-throw point. So, not just the scoreboard pressure, but just the efficiency of some of their offensive points. I think that adds that added psychological pressure. It's like, we've just played a point. We weren't in that at all. Having to go again immediately, it's always a bit rough psychologically.
We see a quick centering throw and then just a huge huck from the power position. Those power position flick hucks, when you can get them off appropriately, feel so good. And you could tell that the Cannons cutters were ready for that one. 2 people in the backfield.
Yeah, again, it's that strike-up line. It's that same pattern that's worked so well for the Cannons. Kākahi going to have to try to, stop that, really. I think the Cannons are just shooting as they please, really. It's pretty much like when they were warming up to the Venga boys. Boom, 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 boom. They really are just booming away here with those power position and big hucks.
Absolutely. A gorgeous pull from Ellen Sanders. We haven't gotten to see too many Sanders pulls so far, but that was placed perfectly. Cannon's able to get down quickly. Bielik looking for a reset. High stall count, still able to get it out to courting.
A zone look here for the Cannons.
Oh, and a quick D by Victoria King. Cannons again able to stay patient and use the field to find some strong throws. King again with the disc. Now resetting to Frazier.
Oh, and that one just lifts over by the wind. A couple of hands on that, but eventually, somehow, Kākahi managing to get that disc to the ground.
Fighting through traffic. And Bielik with an early big throw. The wind gusts up at the worst possible time to just stop the disc in its tracks. Centering pass to Jenkins, who centers it further to Frazier. And a nice inside throw to number 42, Natalie Pembroke. Jessica Chambers showing her flexibility there.
We've seen a few of those inside flick shots by Jessica Chambers. She also, I noticed, likes that little lefty backhand for those little dump passes too. So certainly a very skilled thrower in Chambers. And Cannon, again, making quite light work. That is 1, 2, and then here to the middle. There's only, and that is pass number 4. So not requiring many passes to get scores.
Finding some beautiful openings. You can see on this replay, defenders nowhere near Cannons. They're really pushing into that open side and finding space that Kākahi isn't able to cover.
So after a couple of holds, that is a break to the Cannons.
And one of the lovely pre-ultimate players, that's Daisy on the Kākahi team, for the Kākahi coaching team.
I'm sure we'll have those little ones up and running with the disc in hand pretty soon. Tiang with a big pull, a lovely floater.
Sioane Royal picking up.
And there's a zone set up from the Cannons here, just clogging up that middle space.
Kind of a junky, not quite person zone, but definitely trying to force lots of handler movement and make it difficult for Kākahi.
Ooh, and that was almost a no-look turnover. Wanted that wide space, but the receiver probably wasn't far back enough. They were still making their way towards the backfield.
Frazier now with the disc. Some great pivoting, just not able to find anyone open. Puts up the blade, but isn't able to connect, unfortunately.
Valentine was in good space, but that blade just driving too quickly into the ground for her to get her hands underneath.
Sioane Royale picking up for Kākahi. Looks like Cannons is running this zone again.
So very flat force, and then
immediate hammer up to Sophie Rogers. Then a nice reset back to Nat Bell.
Sioane Royale manages to catch that blade.
Sioane Royale, you may have heard last weekend, she was one of our commentators for D2 down in Christchurch. Courting with a nice quick reset. Bell now further passing to Sioane Royale. Some great handler movement from Kākahi. A beautiful, beautiful blade. And now they've gotten past the handler defense. They're getting some great yardage.
So Cannons, you can see this front wall really forcing Kākahi to move side to side, but now they sneak a lovely inside shot.
That's Sophie Rogers with the disc now, staying nice and patient for Bell. Bell with a gorgeous throw. Can Siolani Royale reel it in? Not quite. Cannons now having to work it all the way back up the field after a great defensive grab.
Lovely
Two
away
cannons
backhand.
downfield. Now Valentine looking for a reset, able to find number 55, Annabelle Fraser, back to Valentine. Once again, we're seeing these uplines on the sidelines for the Cannons that work so well for them. And a nice little lefty backhand, pushing it up that sideline to score.
That was Jenkins to Teo Linarts. You can see a lot of good effort there from the Kākahi defense. As you can see, the Cannons just forcing them side to side. This was a fantastic throw through a tight channel there. And the zone doing, I think, what it's intended to do, forcing that side-to-side swinging and then forcing that high-risk bladey shot. You saw a couple of blades and a couple of hammers. That worked to Kākahi's advantage, but it was just one too many to ask in the meantime. And Cannons on this possession just using that open space so well. That open side driving up from the back here.
Chambers really shaking her defender, getting her defender all the way to the ground. Then finding Jenkins with that lefty backhand. And Jenkins with a nice, smooth, easy put to Teo.
So Cannons racing away. It is 14-2. They are in the prime position here to shoot for a win to get into the semi-finals. What can Kākahi do here? Have their coaching staff got some tricks up their sleeve? Maybe make some adjustments just to consolidate that offense?
This is a game to 15, so Cannons are on match point, but they would need to break to score. Pull goes off from the Cannons.
Lower, shorter pull this one, so Kākahi may be a little bit more advantageous for this point.
Looks like Cannons coming down in person defense again. Some quick movement from Kākahi.
Oh, and
just not able to score it in the end zone.
the flow looked really good. They were giving Cannons a dose of their own medicine, attacking that open side and then looking up. Those cuts were timed really well. It was just a small execution error here to a slight overthrow, and the receiver couldn't quite get to the disc, but well done on Kākahi. I like that they're staying aggressive here on offense.
And Cannons now running their offense very consistent, very calm, very collected, running their plays. Nixon now with the disc. Some strong fakes, looking for her resets. Finds Svetanovich. Svetanovich with a gorgeous forehand. Just not able to reel it in for Michelle Martin. Kākahi now with another chance to hold.
So Kākahi setting up in a horizontal offense now. Hopefully they can make use of both that under and deep space.
Bielik picking up with a quick flick. Unfortunately, Cannons able to get their hands on the Frisbee. Little bit of multiple people in the same space, but still a turnover.
Teo Linart's doing very well to get her body in a good position to ensure that disc fell to the ground.
Svetanovich now picking up.
Again, that upline strike by Teo Linart, so powerful.
Teo Linart's to Svetanovich is just such an impressive connection. Unfortunately, that one goes out of bounds.
And this time, Kākahi ended up managing to try and minimize the damage from the upline strike. The continuation wasn't on for Teo Linart's this time, and then this shot here ended up running out of room. So some progress made.
And Kākahi taking it up to where it went out of bounds. Bielik now trying to find a receiver. Looking for the upline, finds a great open side shot. Michelle Lee able to pull it down and then send it up for the score.
Mackenzie there with a lovely goal. The Kākahi are not done yet. They certainly have a bit more to fight for. You know, sometimes when it's, match point, you've got nothing left to lose. People are like, you know what, I can play with freedom, and that's when they play their best Frisbee.
Absolutely. Excited to see how Kākahi can turn on the Jets. Let's see if they can get a break on this point.
Fantastic grab there by Lee. She's had some sticky fingers all throughout this match. She's caught some pretty difficult throws, some of them coming pretty quick and lively. Bilek here, a lovely around shot on the flick. Lee just goes up with one hand, plucks it from the sky, and then lovely timing of that cut here from Mackenzie. Perfect little position to flip for an easy score.
Bilek with some beautiful fakes to get her defender out of position to find her reset. That was a high stall count. You can tell Bilek's played for a good while, because once that stall count starts getting to 6 and 7, it's scary. You need to get rid of that Frisbee. So her capacity to stay relaxed, get the throw off, and make it a completion was really impressive.
And I'm sure the Cannons are looking forward to try and get this point on a clean hold. They've got one hand on the doorknob into the semis here. As we said at the beginning, the winner of this game earns their spot in a semi-final at the Division 1 National Championships. See what Kākahi can do. Can they ride this wave? They've certainly made progress in terms of their defense. Can their offense connect a few more to extend this game?
Quick reset by the Cannons offense. Svetanovic trying to find a receiver. Looks like Kākahi giving Cannons a taste of their own medicine with a bit of a zone on this potentially a final point.
Oh, Svetanovic, sorry, that is Simard, saves the disc from the ground, pushes it up to Douglas.
Some good resets. Now Fraser trying to find an open player. Svetanovic got a finger on it, but not able to come up with the second chance grab.
Fantastic defense there by Landon Lane. She manages to keep her eyes tracking on the disc, just manages to tap it onwards, so Svetanovic was unable to trap her hands around. And this one,
Bell puts it up. Unfortunately, Svetanovic gets it right back. Now we've got Landon Lane playing strong person defense, but Svetanovic able to run out of that.
No one on the mark here.
A beautiful crossfield throw by Svetanovic. Reeled in, and that is game.
Cannons with their emphatic win in this pre-semi-final. They have earned their spot in the semi-finals of this championships. They will be very, very pleased. I think absolutely dominating with the upline cuts, just managing to get open with seeming ease. They will be a difficult team to stop come the latter stages of this tournament.
A very fun game to watch. We saw lots of positives. I think the score doesn't necessarily reflect all of the talent on Kākahi. Some very strong defense, some really impressive handler motion. I think once they've built some more of their chemistry and establish a flow, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
For sure, and as we know, first season as a club, it's always going to be a bit unpredictable. People are still starting to kind of find their rhythm and find their place and work out their identity as well. So I think, there's still some strong signs, some really positive moments coming in this game from Kākahi. But, the stars like Svetanovic, she really dominated this game in the handler space. The previous game, Tiang really stood out. So a really fantastic distribution of strong players from the Cannons. They'll go far with the depth in their squad.
A very fun game to watch. Thank you all for joining us here on ULTI.TV. Excited to see you here again. We've got another game coming up for you here at 3. Coming up soon. Hope to see you there. Thanks again for joining us. My name's Lauren Burgess, and this has been Avril Tan.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
ULTI.TV.